This is the International Space Station, the largest ever built by humans in space. The most complex building block in space. He's going 28,000 kilometers an hour. Crazy in an orbit 400 kilometers above the Earth. It goes around the world once every 90 minutes. I'll just throw you up today. Experience firsthand the beauty and horror of space. He can be called one of the most ambitious engineering projects in human history. It was jointly built by 15 countries, including the United States and Russia. It's a top science lab. It's also one that floats in a deadly vacuum, an incredibly fragile island. There's no atmosphere, only the cold that can instantly freeze people into ice, and lethal radiation that can scorch the skin. Let alone, and there's tons of space junk that's faster than bullets, whistling by. There is no chance to make mistakes here. Any small mistake, the consequences are catastrophic. Every system runs, but is like dancing on the tip of a knife. On good days, astronauts can monitor climate change at their leisure, making all possible changes. The future of scientific research for all mankind. But if you get unlucky, they have to scramble in the deadly vacuum of space, relying on vigorous explanation to fix one that hangs from the robotic arm, crumbling high-pressure solar panels. Now you have successfully arrived at the space station. Here we go! You are a space station astronaut. To make your experience more authentic, we put together some real astronaut experiences and some thrilling moments that actually happened, all encapsulated in this exciting day. You're about to wake up in a minute. Don't know anything about the chaos that's going to happen next. You are floating in a sleeping bag fixed to the wall. There are no windows in the personal cabin. It was pitch black. This is to ensure that you can sleep well. Now, the space station is traveling at 28,000 kilometers per hour, running through space. Every 45 minutes, the sun outside the window rises or sets once. It's like 24 hours a day. You will experience 16 sunrises and sunsets. 6 a.m. sharp. Wake up today is Wednesday. There are 10 hours of work waiting for you, and your first challenge, just waking up in zero gravity. As soon as you pull out the earplugs, the hum of various fans and devices immediately into the ear, noisy like a vegetable market. Without the ventilation system, the carbon dioxide you exhale will be in your head, sawed into a ball. Finally, you can suffocate yourself to death. Under gravity, the fluid in the body doesn't go down. So, the astronaut's face is swollen like a bun. Nose is always stuffed. All you need to go to the toilet is a powerful vacuum cleaner. Prevent something indescribable from floating around. Most of the waste ends up in airtight bags, drying and packing, and then thrown into space like junk. Some of it burns up in the atmosphere, into a passing meteor. I don't know if anyone is making a wish. There is no shore here. Water is so precious. You can only wipe your body with wipes. Almost all the water in the space station, it's all recycled. Sweat, moisture in your breath, even your urine. A high-tech filtration system can turn 98% of liquids back into drinking water. It can produce at least 6,000 liters a year. That's what you're using. He filled his drinking bag with water. You put on clothes you've been wearing for days. The final destination of dirty clothes is also packed. Become a potential meteor. You don't have to wear thick clothes here. The side of the space station facing the sun. The shell temperature can reach a piping hot 120 degrees Celsius. And inside the space station, thermal control system running at full capacity to prevent you from getting cooked. Passive temperature control relies on insulation, coating these things to balance the temperature difference. Active temperature control is even more powerful. It's water and ammonia. Water cooling system. First, it sucks the heat generated by then it is passed to the safety circulation system through the heat exchanger. And finally, There's this huge cooling plate. Discharge heat into space. With this system, cabin temperature always maintain a comfortable range of 18 to 24 degrees. Even if the space station flies into the shadow of the Earth, the temperature outside plummeted to minus 160 degrees. It's still warm inside. Before going to work, breakfast is essential, but you can't imagine how important is breakfast today to you. You eat in plastic bags, scrambled eggs with heated water, but coffee is a little miracle. You can use a special one, the zero-gravity cup for coffee. The liquid will magically stick to the cup of salt, climb down the surface tension into your mouth. You and your Russian colleagues. It's also your coffee partner. Let's enjoy this moment of peace together. Although it doesn't stop much on the ground, but on this space station, Russians and Americans still fight side by side. This is a study based on science and coffee, a fragile alliance that has barely survived. Colleagues from other countries have also arrived one after another. And then Hui Chen. Everyone is connected by video. Discuss with ground control. Work of the day. So suddenly we had this really tricky problem. A solar panel on the space station broke down. There are two openings listed above. One of them is about a meter long. The space station is fully powered by solar energy. Not enough power. Many systems have to be downgraded. Maybe even shut down. Someone has to be sent out to fix it. This mission, it will be the most dangerous space station in history. A dangerous spacewalk. It's got 100 volts on it. And the astronauts have no spare parts, no tools at hand. This mission is extremely risky. Astronaut Parakinsky and Wheelock volunteered. But before they leave, there's another big thing. A new Russian module dock number. Plan to connect today. Normally, we'll never combine docking and spacewalks, scheduled on the same day, but to make your life more exciting, we're all arranged together. 2 days ago, this was operated by the Russian Space Agency, Baikonur Cosmodrome. On the pad is a Soyuz 2 rocket. The top is strapped to a Mi-17 spacecraft. It contains the core of this mission. 4-ton dock nodal compartment. The spacecraft separated from the rocket at an altitude of 193 kilometers. Then the capsule began its orbit adjustment. Adjust your posture carefully. Let yourself follow in the footsteps of the space station. The chase took 2 days. We're only 200 meters away. You and everyone else on Earth held their breath. Distance 100 meters. The 65-meter pier is separating. Distance about 30 meters. The target is about 2 degrees below. Crosshair alignment. Automatic docking throughout the process. Distance about 20 meters. Continue to monitor automatic approach. Approach speed 0.1 meters per second. I see the target. Roll angle about 30 degrees. Distance about 8 meters. Last quiet. 3 degrees to the left. 1 degree below. Prepare for contact. Confirm contact. It's done. The pier number is firmly locked. This is the International Space Station today. He's got 16 pressurized chambers. Astronauts can stay inside without a spacesuit. Float everywhere. The keel that holds everything together. It is a comprehensive transverse structure, like a long building block. It's got solar panels on it. These are inhabitable devices. The earliest warehouse segment was the Russian-made Dawn. It's 12.6 meters long and weighs 20 tons. Pretty soon, the Americans hooked up the Solidarity Pod. The first helpful star, Service Module No. 1 arrived in July 2000. Since then, the first 3 astronauts will be officially packed in. The current appearance of the space station took more than 20 years. More than 40 space shuttles were used. Just put it together little by little. The space station is roughly divided into Russian zones and the two major parts of the United States. The Europeans hooked up to their Columbus pod. The Japanese also added the Hope experiment module. But the prettiest boy in the audience is Canadian B2, a 16-meter-long robotic arm. Can move around with several tons of storage. It can also be used as a support for astronauts during spacewalks. He can still crawl around outside the space station himself. Where do you need to go? The entire space station has 6 laboratories, 2 living quarters, a panoramic observation deck. There are countless connection points, storage rooms, and technical systems. The interior space is about the size of a Boeing 747 after the solar panels are fully deployed. It's 7,000 square meters, 260,000 solar cells on it. They keep rotating to track the sun. Every time the space station flies into the Earth's shadow, the backup battery will be seamlessly connected to the power supply. You and your colleagues welcome the arrival of the new module. The dock has 6 ports. More modules and ships can be picked up in the future. Everything went well. It's time to do some science. Here are 15 mice. They'll never understand why they float. But they were the subjects of a groundbreaking experiment. These mice were injected with special antibodies on Earth. You're looking at these antibodies. Effects of zero gravity on their bone growth. In a weightless environment, bone loss is particularly rapid. So, this is a great place to test treatment options. In fact, this is the experiment directly led to the birth of a drug. This medicine is widely used on Earth for treatment under osteoporosis. One stop plant this grass is called Mignonia. It is an inconspicuous species on Earth, but in space it's a star. Plant growth is generally influenced by light and gravity. But in orbit, what happens when you lose gravity? On Earth, plant roots drill down, leaves grow upwards. In space, he completely let himself go, looking everywhere. The astronauts are here, constantly conduct various studies, from physics to biomedicine. Some future research may help us attack cancer or heart disease, revolutionize life on Earth. But now, another thing that requires your full attention. The most dangerous event in the history of the space station, spacewalk. This is the protagonist of Parakinski's mission. This will be the most important event in his career, the most important extravehicular activity. His colleague Doug Woodlock assists him on the cross. Right now, they're in the Discovery hatch. The pressure in the cabin is slowly decreasing to align with the outer space vacuum. They fasten the safety rope. Make sure it doesn't float into the endless darkness. And the hatch opens. They step into space. Their target is the broken solar panel. They didn't have the right tools, no spare parts. There are only 5 aluminum strips in my hand. Wire and duct tape temporary DIY patches. No one knows if this thing will work or not. And there's 100 volts on the board. Any naked leakage of current can be fatal. Scott's spacesuit and tools. All metal parts are covered with insulating tape. Wrap 3 layers. And here's what's even worse. Distance from the broken panel than any astronaut in history. Scott will be the first to go there. The arm itself wasn't long enough. They had to add a 15-meter extension rod to him. This leaves you and your colleagues in the cabin. It's a lot harder to control. Scott's boots are locked to the end of the robotic arm. The robotic arm began to slowly crawl towards the target. It takes time. Scott is hanging above the Earth, floating for 100 kilometers above the Amazon rainforest. The weather looks good down there. He feels like a fisherman. A lure on a fishing rod in your hand, and the fishing rod tied to a wireless long metal beam. A colleague's voice came from the earphones. Remind him of the dangers over and over again. Sharp edges. Lethal voltage. He's finally here. The rift is in sight. Scott starts to work. In the space station and on Earth, everyone held their breath, watching his every move silently. One by one he, handmade pudding like cufflinks, carefully through the holes in the canvas. Secure the fragile metal plate. It worked, the pudding held up. Everybody loses a lot. International Space Station. It's been in orbit for over 25 years. It's starting to look old. There is a problem with the air conditioner for 3 days. The oxygen system also often gets angry. Sometimes there are air leaks, but I can't find where the leak is. By 2030, this 420-ton satellite will be available. Will come to his end. Finally, a controlled fall into the ocean. The return of this meteor will be human, a successful conclusion to the first collaboration. Its conclusion is just the end of a chapter. Humanity's journey towards the sea of stars. It's just getting started. I hope this trip to the space station let you spend 10 happy minutes. But you should also go home. Go back to your bed. Then go to sleep. Good night.